Good morning. We start today's press overview with Newsweek and the article about the precautionary measures taken to minimize the risk of the terrorist attacks in Paris and why they did not work. As we can read, the terrorists had been observed for a long time before the attacks. Despite of the suspicions that they may have had connotations with the Islamic State, they could have traveled from Syria to Europe and easily collect all the guns needed to conduct the attacks. Another reason was that the ISIS does not consist only of the Muslims. Unfortunately, more and more Europeans joined this terrorist organization. Let me remind that the attacks took place on 13th of November. In 7 explosions, 137 people died and over 300 were injured. The attacks were conducted by 7 terrorists, of whom 4 were killed, 2 arrested, but 1 has not been captured. Shifting to the environmental topic, in Gazeta Wyborcza we can read about the deficiency of the drinking water. It is commonly known that about 75% of the earth is covered with water, but not everyone knows that only 3% of this amount is drinking water. As we can read, the situation is very serious. Over 1 billion people have no access to the drinking water. We can only imagine how serious the situation will be in 2050, when our planet will be inhabited by 9 billion people. The reason for the water deficiency are droughts and floods, but also people who waste loads of water. An average American uses 500 liters of water per day, while an average African uses only 47 liters of water per day. The lack of water is a very serious problem that needs to be dealt, otherwise it will have a detrimental effect on the life of our descendants. Now something for the fans of Kamil Stoch and Polish ski jumpers team. According to the Sports Review, Łukasz Kruczek, the Polish national team's first coach, announced that after the end of this season he is no longer going to be the coach of the Polish team. The reason for this decision is quite obvious: the surprisingly bad results of the Polish ski jumpers. The Sports Review journalists prepared a comparison of this and the previous season. Having collected 820 points, Kamil Stoch ended the last season on the 8th position and was considered one of the top ski jumpers in the world. However, in the current season, our team's leader has collected only 172 points, and the World Cup leader, Petr Preft of Slovenia, 1,224 points. The difference in the scores reflects the huge gap this year between Kamil Stoch and the top performers. After the World Cup in Zakopane, which turned out relatively good for the Polish team, the experts predicted a likely revival and a change for the better. Unfortunately, none of these predictions came true, and no one sees the light at the end of the tunnel. Łukasz Kruczek has been the coach of the Polish team for 8 years. During this time, Kamil Stoch won the World Cup and became a double Olympic champion. Yet now Kruczek is on the verge of his career as a trainer and will most likely fail to keep the job. More about sport in today's edition of Sports Review. In the cultural section of Gazeta Wyborcza, we can read about another interesting event organized in Lublin. For the last 4 days, from the 4th of February to the 7th of February, our city was the host of the Kavaliada Tour, the only Polish horse riding tour authorized by the International Federation for Equestrian Sports. During this time, Lublin was visited by thousands of fans of equestrian sport from the whole Europe, who had a unique chance to see the best horse riders competing in 4 different disciplines, such as combined driving, show jumping, dressage and endurance. Kavaliada Lublin was organized for the 5th time and, as always, lived up to the expectations. In the same paper, we can read a very positive review of Ellie Goulding's last concert in Warsaw. The event took place on 23rd of January and was a part of the concert tour promoting her new record, Delirium. The audience had a chance to hear the greatest hits like Love Me Like You Do or On My Mind. The article contains an exclusive interview with Ellie in which we can read about her attitude to Poland and the Polish audition and her hopes associated with the new record. It's a real must-read for every Ellie Goulding's fan. At the end of the program we have really bad news for the skiers. Unfortunately, according to Gazeta Wyborcza, the second part of January was the only time when we could have witnessed winter in Poland. The weather forecast predicts temperature in high ranges for February, even up to plus 10 Celsius degrees. This is bad news for the school children from Lublin province as they start their winter school break next week. The message for the skiers: be patient, because the winter will surely come back. The only question is when. So much in today's press review. Stay tuned for the tomorrow program.